Ugh. Genuinely wish I had more to do today. I was debating painting and updating the parts for my knights, but like, I don't know, man. That's gonna be a bit. But yeah, we've got stuff to do with building. So honestly, we might as well just get into it, right? Because we're going to do this in a weird order, I think. In particular, I think we might physically paint all the bases first so that we can get the crackle paste down. Because that was a very important thing in building all of these units, is to make sure the bases have the crackle paste. This is not going to involve any of the heavy soldiers either. This is not that situation. The GSC Codex kind of screwed up a lot of squads. In particular, if you look here, there you go. There are 2 heavy and 2 medium weapons in this squad right now, along with the icon bearer and all this stuff. The GSC Codex explicitly says for a 10-man squad, you can only have 1 heavy and 1 special. So a lot of people saw this and were like, "Oh, well, this is how you're supposed to build it, right? You get your 2 heavies, that'd be great." No, you needed to have built 1 heavy and 1 medium. And I can pull this up for verification because this has been bothering me. Gene Stealer Cult. Data sheets. Neophyte hybrids. Unit comp. So. Or warrior options. 1 Neophyte hybrid equipped with a hybrid firearm can be equipped with a cult icon. So you can only have 1 icon per squad. Fine. For every 10 models in this unit, up to 2 Neophyte hybrids can have their hybrid firearms replaced with one of the following. Heavy stubber, mining laser, seismic. Those are your large weapons. To a maximum of 1 per 10 models in this unit. Which, again, means you need the 20-man unit if you want to have, like, the whole scale of the team. Which means for the 2 10-man squads I have with 2 heavies, 2 lights, I need 2 10-man squads of neophytes with just guns to make it work. Alternatively, my buddy is getting me what is it? Oh, I'm trying to think. It's the new release for Necromunda. Hive Secundus. There we are. And that has a couple Brood Brothers in it. Now, it's not a full 10-man squad. It's an issue. If it was a full 10-man squad, it would be fine, but it's not a full 10-man squad. Instead, I'm going to need a little bit more than what I'm getting there, which maybe I don't really care, but either way, I'm going to have enough for a single 20-man squad with full heavies, full mediums, and then I'm going to have, after I get the Hive Secundus box this weekend, I'm going to have enough on hand to take a 10-man squad. And that 10-man squad will just have 1 heavy, 1 medium. It'll probably be mechanical. Just sit back, capture some points, make sure that the leader in the squad doesn't die. That kind of stuff. So what we're going to do here, 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to get my gray primer. We're going to prime these. Just real quick. So the way this is supposed to work is that the crackle paste is already down and flat, and I actually glue the character to the top of the crackle paste. Not the best option, mind you. It's not something I would look at and be like, yeah, that's easy. It's perfectly fine. Because crackle paste is a little brittle, so you have to kind of pre-plan some stuff. Let me get that gray primer out. Here we are. Crack open the water. Make it a good brush. I don't really like brushing the primer on with one of my like miniature brushes. It's like midday. Not afternoon yet, but coming up on noon. So yeah, the way this crackle paste works, from what I've discovered over using it for a long time now, is it very much hates being put on a non-primed surface. But yeah, man, Nova Open. This is why I don't like that humanity's gotten to this point where we really want this kind of a format of like announcements and things where if it happened once, like if a company puts out one type of announcement structure in the past and it really, really works, like everyone kind of latches onto it and they're just like, man, that was really good. Because the last couple Nova Opens were incredible. And now that makes the general populace assume like, oh, every Nova Open from this point forward is going to be their planned cycle for announcements and releases. That's the one we all want to look to. It's like the E3 of Games Workshop games kind of situation. And quite like E3, but in a much faster time rate. This last Nova Open was like the reminder that maybe we don't need this. Like, it's cool if they announce stuff. I mean, it's always cool if cool things get announced. Everyone loves that. But maybe if you don't have announcements, don't do it. But, like, because they kind of pre-established that Nova Open was going to be the thing that you really need to look forward to, I feel like if they didn't do a Nova Open announcement segment, people would be like, oh no, there's nothing happening. But that's kind of the problem, because it does also look like, because of how they announced and what they announced, that nothing is actually happening. Like, dude, that whole show, I know I posted in on the Discord, and I posted in YouTube's community system that the best announcement on there was that the Purple Son of Shyish is a plushie, which I didn't know. But like, that actually, for me, was the best announcement, because almost every other announcement there was, yeah, we're working on stuff, and it's like, dude, you didn't need to sit in front of a camera to tell me that. I'd hope that that was passively happening. Like, you didn't need to roll out the red carpet to tell me stuff's coming later. And then, dude, that wild... I loved that ending where they were like, this is the big one extra thing, and it's super special. And then the Middle Earth logo came up, and I went, oh yeah, they do Middle Earth. Like, verbally out loud, I was like, oh yeah, they'd have the Middle Earth thing for tabletop games. I forgot about that. Like, apparently it's big in, like, European countries. The US does not care about that game at all. The Warhammer store near me has 1/4 of one shelf as Middle Earth. The other stores near me who carry Games Workshop products don't even carry Middle Earth as a product. One of the stores that doesn't carry Middle Earth has a lot of their personality as a store tied to Lord of the Rings. They will not carry the Middle Earth product because it's just not useful for them. That store does a sale on Bilbo Baggins' birthday. Will not carry the Middle-earth stuff. Alright, let's get the magnets in these. But, like, it's kind of the problem of announcement cycles and events and things. Because the only way this would have worked is if all year they were planning explicitly to do stuff at the end of the year, right? They were very, very seriously planning on getting end of the year stuff together. Literally for Nova Open, like to announce at Nova Open, which I don't know if as a company, oh, that sucks. I don't know if as a company that they've like kind of ingrained that into their minds is, oh, we need to do this. We need to kind of build our release cycle around the Nova Open time. Because you kind of have to like really plan as a company for that, like well in advance. Which I'm certain as a miniature company, it's probably not a good look to anyone investing in you that like you've had these things sitting on the shelf for most of the year, but you were waiting for a single event to announce it and release it. Mostly because investors are short-sighted, because that is actually a brilliant way to do things. Oh, dude. I mean, coffee, okay, cold brew. Definitely look into cold brew. Because apparently caffeine, when ingested in a cold state, like cold brew, releases in a more even fashion throughout your day. Like hot coffee will sort of just give you a burst of energy right away, but then you kind of need more as the day goes on just because it's not good enough. Like, it's going to go away. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, just cold brew it. And I've tried it before. Cold brew is pretty good for that type of thing. And there's some good versions of cold brew that are pretty low on calorie and still taste fairly good. Oh, dude, the Krieg announcement? Yeah. Well, a lot of the people local to me are like, finally, Krieg. And I have to give it to them because I don't think they do what they do under the whole, like, that side of the community type situation. But, like, these are people who are like, man, I really wish the Deathcore Krieg was a thing, and their paint scheme is black and red. And it's like, okay. But, like, I know that they don't, like, from talking to them, I know that that's not why, right? Like, that's, I know that they're doing it because black and red is actually a very ingrained in human nature as a stylistic color combination that is very appealing to the eye. It's considered the edgelord color scheme for a reason in online situations. So, like, they like the color scheme because it's a fun color scheme. No other reason. And they like the deathcore of Krieg just because, like, almost everything else Imperial Guard feels a little too jingoism in concept of just like, it's humans being the best, and you're like, no, they're not. Thousands of them are gonna die to kill one enemy. They're not being the best. But then Krieg is like, look, we know we're gonna die. The question is, how many are we gonna take with us? And it's like, oh, it feels a little bit better. No, I'm magnetizing the bottoms of the bases because I use metal cookie sheets to carry stuff around. So when you put a single tiny magnet like this in the base with a little bit of glue, when it comes time to transport stuff, the boxes that I have, you just pull out a big metal sheet, organize your guys on the sheet, put it into the tray slot, and then close it up, and you're done. Yeah, so it's mostly for transport purposes. And if you do it early enough, it doesn't really matter. You'll get the magnet in there. I have magnetized feet before. That stuff is insane. My Thousand Sun Sorcerer, I have one sorcerer that can be on foot as an Exalted or on disc. And it's literally because I magnetized his feet. I was debating doing that with Ahriman. But after I did it with my Exalted Sorcerer, I just bought a whole other Ahriman to make a different one. I was like, nah, I'm not doing that again. Because it doesn't really work. Like, no matter how hard I tried to get it to set properly, what ends up happening is the character kind of rocks back and forth on the magnet top. Like, it's really weird. So right now I have a Exalted Sorcerer that when he's on his Disc of Tzeentch and you move it around, he kind of like flops back and forth a little bit. Even though they're really powerful magnets, he still does it. And it's just awkward looking. So I was like, nah, I'll just buy another Ahriman. We're not going to play this game. These magnets actually came with the box. They want these magnets to be used. They did say, and the revamp of all the aspects, which could also mean getting new Phoenix Lords as well. Which that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. New Phoenix Lords would be poggers. Still haven't gone through my collection of bases yet. I need to find out if I have a 50 or not, and if I don't, I need to order one so I can make one of these Hive Secundus characters into a patriarch. Okay, so this needs to dry before we crackle paste. While we let that dry, we got to start just bulk building neophytes. So the other thing, did you guys saw the roadmap? Like, why would I'm gonna pull this up for the stream. Yeah. Why would they actively think that dropping the roadmaps and not even showing them on the actual reveal show? This 100% the roadmaps were decided upon shortly before the show went live. 100%. Because the roadmaps would have been important to show since there were things on them that weren't fully talked about. Let me see, where are we? This is it, the 40K one. The AOS one sounds okay. Okay, so for the Aquilons, you deploy 4 units, and then 6 units in total will be dropped later. And there's drop markers that you apparently assign units to, and then I guess you can trigger a full squad drop? I don't know. Hot drop. After rolling attack dice for a friendly operative that landed during the activation, if the target is within 6 inches, if you can re-roll, count the number of friendly Aquilons that are available that aren't incapacitated, then have the result to give you X. Until the end of the activation, operative weapons have balanced rolls. Jesus. Swift landing, rapid insertion, Remote overseer, be it a high-flying observer. They might be cool. This is not the roadmap I clicked on. This is Horus Heresy for some reason. Here we are. Open image, new tab. Full screen. Okay. Behold. So, I was talking to my buddy about this. Whoever said this was a good idea of being like, hey guys, here's the roadmap of everything we've done, which is like the bulk of it. This is the bulk of the roadmap here, is like, check out all the cool stuff we did. Check out the one thing we have left before the end of the year, which, quick reminder, we have like 3 months to go, just about, a little over. So what we've done in 3/4 of a year, and then in the last quarter of the year, we can only get one other thing out. Sorry, guys. And then, hey, at the beginning of the year, this is what you get. Now, the problem with this is we don't know when. So we don't know if all of this is going to occur in like a month or something. Not only that, from my perspective, right? Like, I love that the Krieg are coming. It's great. It's fantastic. Aldari, that's going to be great for my friend, unless they're like, hey, Harlequins are getting legend status, and he's going to be like, no, and never play frickin' Aldari again. Imperial Knights, where are the Chaos Knights? There's no way you release this book and not the Chaos Knights book at the same time. There's so few units between those two armies that making just an Imperial Knights Codex and not a Chaos, like, this should be Chaos/Imperial Knights. Like, 2 codexes in a short period of time. They are the smallest books. When they released the indexes, you bought both of them. I have the Imperial Knights Index. Even though I play Chaos Knights, I have the Imperial Knights Index. So, like, this is confusing. Plus, and this is my favorite part, more codexes. No shit, Sherlock. Big names. What are you talking about? What are you talking? Big names. And special chaos treats. Now, this combo here could be Emperor's Children, along with like the revamp of all the big Slaanesh Chaos Space Marine characters. Lucius. They could be bringing back Fulgrim, all that stuff. It could be it. But like, there's no way this went through their PR group or their graphic design department and someone didn't say, hey, maybe we don't point out that there's literally nothing coming for the rest of the year. Maybe we don't bring attention to that kind of a thing. Because this kind of sucks. If Emperor's Children doesn't come out before the end of the year, that means we're not getting like a battle box for them. We're not getting like all the cool stuff that I kind of would want to purchase. If it's literally just, you got Blood Angels, have fun. Like, I don't know what to do at that point. So I don't know. This was weird. This was very awkward. Oh, not what I was looking to do. Warhammer community. Articles, all news. So they also did AOS. I'm not really that worried about this. And dude, this was probably the funniest thing of all time. One more big reveal. One guy on a horse in a game mode that I think is only big in one part of the world. Okay. So I am getting into this. I do have a game of this on Friday. Oh no, this is Old World. Did they not release the Nova Open roadmap? Thought they did. These models look great, by the way. These models look fantastic. This looks horrible. Here we are. Oh, we're also getting a... Okay. I don't know how familiar you guys are with certain things that Games Workshop does. Here we are. What the hell? So, is this... From what I remember reading, this is still, like, restricted to some countries. And I think it's not the U.S. Right? Like, this doesn't come to the U.S. But... you get like 9 of these or something by the end of the subscription, and you get them for way cheaper than you would normally, right? Oh my god, you get this? Combat Patrol is currently only available in the UK. You assholes. Don't show me this. You make me select the country I'm viewing from, and then you're like, haha. It's oh, you bastards. Cause like, come on, man. So I think these are supposed to be combat patrols for the actual 40K game, which means if you look here, you do get the old Chaos one that has, you know, Terminators. That's kind of, did it have Terminators? It might have. You get a Khorne one that has a Mauler Fiend. So did they ever release a new Khorne one that has a Mauler Fiend? Because I don't remember that being a thing. So I think this is kind of the reveal of potentially what the new World Leader Combat Patrol is. It just has a Mauler Fiend, a guy on Juggernaut, and then a couple Khorne Berserkers. Is there a Thousand Sun one in here? No. This is the standard... Oh, this is a weird Space Marine one. Why the hell do you have a bike leader? When did this happen? Yeah, there's the GSC one. With... There's like... Okay. This feels like regular Combat Patrol plus one thing. Because I don't think... Were the Terminators... I don't think Terminators were in the Chaos one. And this looks like the regular World Leaders one plus a Mauler Fiend. This is the regular GSC one plus an Achilles. This is the regular Space Marines plus a bike. Are they expanding the combat patrols by giving you an option of a different leader? Or like a different thing to add where it's like, oh, you could cut one of your squads down to 5 and take a Mauler Fiend or something. There's a Wraith Lord here. Like, this looks normal. Oh, wait, no. I don't think they had the truck. I think this was just the boss, the Killa, the Coptas, and the 2 squads. I don't think the truck existed, right? Did it? This would be a wild way for me to purchase another one of my Hellbrutes so I can make another magnetized Hellbrute. Like, this would be depraved for me to go for. Although the Mauler Fiend would be cool to grab. Because they say you get 6 patrols, or is it just 6 magazines that gives you 1 patrol? Vast richness and cast characters, blah, blah, blah. 90 issues. Jesus Christ. Your subscription will bring you 9 complete combat patrols. Space Marines, Tyranids, Eldari, Chaos Space Marines, or Asteroid. Yeah. Each faction comes with an additional unit not found in the usual combat patrols with a new data sheet to use in your games. What? So, what? Wait. So yeah, with a new data sheet to use in your games, do they mean in big 40K? Because I mean, a Mauler Fiend in Combat Patrol is insane. But if you're about to tell me that we're going to be getting updated Combat Patrols that involve an extra unit beyond what's already in the Combat Patrol, like a freaking Mauler Fiend, a squad of Chaos Space Marine Terminators, a bike, freaking Achilles Ridge Runner. What's happening with Combat Patrol? I don't know how I feel about this. You can also upgrade to a premium subscription to supercharge your collection with bigger... So they just give you excess things. You can just purchase a kit and they'll be like, hey, you get a Brutalis. They're trying to give people this, man. They want less of this. I don't know. Let's get back to building. Because, yeah, I don't... Dude, it's so weird to look at. Alright, so we have to use all regular guns. Honestly, we probably just... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can just do all 10 of these. We're probably going to bulk build this. I think bulk building would be a good idea. Because Combat Patrol was an interesting concept, but we needed some updates to some of the older teams. Those are the older teams. They are getting updates. It's just a weird update to be like, the Orc update is an extra truck. It also kind of skews the way the game is built for, which the whole thing for them was you buy one box, you're in, right? And then to be like, okay, you also now need to go out and buy another box on top of this box is like, it's a little weird. If it's a rotational, like, oh, you can take this squad out and use the Mauler Fiend instead, then that's not that bad. If they're like, drop a Corn Berserker squad, take a Mauler Fiend. It's like, okay, cool. I guess that's fine. Hand of the Archon... You don't hear a lot about them because honestly, they weren't really that flavorful. Everything about them just felt basic, right? Like, yeah, you'd expect it. The pain token function, kind of like the weapon loadouts and stuff. You looked at them and you were like, yeah, this is about right. There's nothing that really stands out as special about the squad. They feel like kind of an alternate format Void Scarred, but for the most part, everything about them, there's like no surprise. There's just no surprises in that army at all, or that squad at all. It probably would have been cooler for like a Beastmaster and a ton of beasts to be a kill team, but they decided Hand of the Archon. There's some good standout units. Like if you're planning on playing them, look at the Poisoner. I'm trying to remember what they're called. It's like the something Acolyte or something. They have a poison grenade ability. They are quite literally your strongest unit in the game. Your whole purpose is to position them in a way where you can put poison on a bunch of enemies and then run and get out. And like that's it. In the new format, honestly, Hand of the Archon is probably going to be really strong because with the 3 objective markers, what's going to end up happening is elites are going to try to capture 2 and then spread to the 3rd. So what's going to occur is that one of those, like they'll try to probably capture middle with a lot of their units and then a side one with less. And then if they have a ton of units near middle and you have a poisoner near middle, you can just poison that whole section of elites. That is a massive boon for you. because the poison is super injury, as well as constant mortals for the rest of the game. So the problem with them, in my opinion, is how linchpin that character feels. Like, there's... The rest of the characters feel so kind of, like, bland and basic. And to have, like, this one linchpin character of, man, I need to land a really, really good poison, or this is going to suck. It doesn't feel good for that to be the case, right? Like, it just doesn't. Their long-ranged assassin isn't bad just because he has a full field indirect. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but I mean, you can really just harass people with that guy, which is kind of exactly what you want. You want to just harass people. But yeah, like, probably the big disappointment for that army, for my friends and I, was we were kind of expecting it to be very melee focused. Like, hit and fade melee. Kind of like Harlequins that can't fly. That was our assumption. And then when we looked at them, we realized that the Void Scarred are actually better at melee. They are. The Void Scarred are just better at melee than the Hand of the Archon. The Hand of the Archon are more ranged. I think I gotta take my matched playbook home so I can figure out how to actually play AOS. I gotta figure out how to select missions and do that, because there's the universal missions and there's the team-based missions. Oh, dude, Higher Tech. Higher Tech not needing to be everywhere with how few units they have. They are, in my opinion, the Higher Tech are the elite of the elite. That's probably not something anyone really wants to hear, because they're like, oh, they're slow moving, and, you know, they don't have cool things like rocket launchers and plasma guns. And it's like, dude, that AP, the passive AP on their weapons, are you kidding me? There's nothing better in that game than the current existing Deathmark. You get the free ability to enhance your shots to, like, guarantee certain high-level damage. And then you just unload on someone with it. They're an extremely powerful squad that people heavily underestimate. Especially now with the ability to buff units that last between rounds. As long as that persists into 2.5 or 3.0 or however we want to view the upcoming rules. Like, them and the Thousand Suns are very just weirdly powerful. I'm really hoping they change how buffs work in the game. I like that armies... Oh, jeez, that's not right. I like that armies... like the Thousand Suns. I think those are the backs for the ones I just have here. Okay. I like that the armies like Thousand Suns and Higher Tech have this individual advantage of being like, oh, we buff between rounds. Like, that's pretty cool to me. But at the same time, I also think the rest of the armies do kind of need it. Like, it's still very awkward playing Kill Team and trying to mentally picture why all the buffs you just applied would fall off. at like the top of the next round. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's a good way to visualize the game. To be like, oh yeah, my buff just fell off because a round changed. Playing it from the perspective of like, oh, my unit that buffed you activated again, therefore the buff vanished. It's like, it feels a little better. But yeah, all I know is my wallet is safe for at least a little while. Hive Storm's coming. Probably grab that. But outside of that, I'm not really thinking I need to buy a lot right now. Which is pretty poggers. We can focus on videos. I can try to figure out what's going to happen to the stream once we're kind of done all the building and painting. I still think trying to run like mini camps of strategy talk for things like Underworlds and Kill Team. Cause like I think keeping up with doing the team overview videos would be cool. But I think spending a day workshopping fun ideas with the team. Like we just pick units and we kind of go unit to unit and be like, all right, what can this guy do? What kind of advantages do we see? Kind of checklisting off. Like, oh, in open world, he's really good because of this and this and this and blah, blah, blah. And we can kind of go down the line and sort of create the strategies and combos that I can bring up in those videos for the characters. Because we might reformat stuff a little bit. I don't know. I like going over the individual characters, showing stats, all that stuff. Think there's really nothing else up through the end of the year, right, for general announcements that usually occurs from Games Workshop. Nova Open is, I think, the year-end announcement, right? Or what else do we have coming? Is LVO an end of the year thing, or is that a beginning of the year thing? I'm trying to remember LVO's time frame, because I thought LVO was pretty good. I thought some stuff came out during LVO. Also, is that Purple Son of Shyish plushie, like, is that actually something that Games Workshop released at some point and I'm just unaware of it? Or is that like a secret plushie? Because that plushie was awesome. I kind of want one. I'm gonna look it up. Oh my god, I found it. Dude, it's $31. It's so much larger than the squig that I have. Holy crap. Oh, is this one of those automata that like exists in rules, but there isn't like an easy way to get the model? I did that with my my defiler. I also found out people were saying that the defiler, I guess there is a suggested base size for it, but just no one uses it. Oh no. How the hell did this fall off my... Hang on. I gotta clean some stuff up now, apparently. Super weird. My airbrush just fell off my my desk. Let me check the search engine here. Incendio Battle Automata. Would you say it's close to the Castellix Battle Automata, which would be a 60 millimeter? Also, the Breachers are alright. I mean, they're pretty powerful in some regard just because of their multiple GA. The issue is, I mean, do we go with that going forward? Because I don't know what's going to change, like, in 2.5. People have noticed that most of the units that we've seen that they've revealed don't have any general activation function, which is a little bit weird for some of the Horde teams that require that, or they're going to take, like, all day to play. So we don't know how that's going to work. Strategically, I think they're pretty good. I think they're actually kind of cool, especially in open terrain because they can go through walls. Well, one of the units can mark a wall so that they can go through it, which is pretty cool. They have some level of decent durability, which is nice. And they're mildly Horde, which, I mean, you get a lot done. They can be really good, but their playstyle is kind of methodical. It's slow, methodical. It's just kind of like basic maneuvering, I guess. And if that's what you're into, go for it. If you look at that and you're like, it's not fast enough for me, probably don't go with them. They're like a slightly advanced Vet Guard team, basically. So it's like, if you're into it, you're into it. You can give it a shot. We just finished painting ours. Okay, well let me take a look at its stats. Paste. So I'm looking at this thing here, Dark Angels heavy support, Extendo Battle Automata, movement 8, movement 7, wounds 6, wounds, weapon skill 6, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill. What's the total wounds here? 4 versus 6. I don't know. So, comparing it to the Castellix Battle Automata, the Castellix... Oh, Jesus. 95 points versus 350. Strength 7. Toughness 7. So, toughness 6 here. Wounds 4 versus wounds 6. Initiative 4. Initiative 3. Attacks 2. Attacks 5. 9. 2 plus. 9. Or 7. 3 plus. It feels kind of close to a Castellix Battle Automata, but not like completely close. Extendo Battle Automata. Let me just look around. Is it even really still a thing? Because normally Wahapedia puts the legend rules in with everything else. They're like, yeah, these are legend now, but, you know, deal with it. And I'm not seeing legend here. Maybe they didn't know it this time around. Yeah, because the Guardian Automata is on a 32. Wounds 3, another 60. I don't know, man. I feel like at bare minimum you want it on a 60. But it might need to be slightly larger. Because it does have more wounds than normal and a better save. Now I'm looking at this $32 Age of Sigmar collectible plush Purple Son of Shyish toy. And I'm kind of like, maybe. Maybe. Base size. Yeah. Because people are talking about the inspiration side of things too. A lot of people are saying aim for a 60. Just aim for a 60. So new Battle Automata Leviathan box takes up a heavy spot and is about the same points cost. Exendo looks like a real beast in CC, given its 4 base plus 1 for extra DD or whatever. Levy can of course be deployed via drop pod, whereas Exendo has to run across the battlefield. Which is the preferred choice? Someone on here was talking. As the Exendo has the same strength and toughness as a Castellax, I expect that it will have a 40mm base. The Thalnar, which is strength 8, toughness 8, has the larger 60mm base. I would expect the Alpha Legion could take 1 coils. Yeah, so strength 7, toughness 7. I guess they increased the strength and toughness. So most people say whatever the Dune Crawler is. No, yeah, it's Rule of Cool. Everyone's saying Rule of Cool. But people are saying whatever the Dune Crawler is, because most people, when they create their version of it, they just use Dune Crawler as, like, the legs, and then just basically slap a regular-ass dreadnoughty thing on top of it. Probably the main reason I'm not super interested in Horus Heresy is it feels like there's a lot of things there that, like, they wanted rules for just because it's maybe in a story or some lore. But then actively, there's no physical model. You have to kind of figure it out. You're just like, I guess we'll solve this equation. I don't know. Maybe. I also have not built a dune crawler, so I'm unsure where the points of articulation are. I mean, given some plastic clippers and some time, anything is possible, right? Yeah, but then why write the rules for it? Like, that's my thing. If you don't physically have any information about the model at all, like, I get going the route of like, hey man, you want to customize this, right? But if that's the way, tell me stuff. Like, again, this is kind of why I like Age of Sigmar. If you look at the Age of Sigmar rules, they actually explicitly tell you base sizes of things. Because if you do want to custom build your unit, you can put it on a base. Like, they tell you the base size. They're like, yeah, man, you want this. It's important. So, like, why not Horus Heresy? Like, it's such a weird thing to me with 40k and everything else, because 40k changed a lot of its base sizes, but they didn't really explicitly say anywhere that the base sizes were changed outside of the box sets that came out. I think they did a news write-up, right, where they were like, oh yeah, Genestealer's bases are bigger. Everyone was like, oh, okay, I guess. I just remember someone asking for a tournament to be like, do I need to shave all of my Genestealers off of their bases and upgrade them, or what's this mean? And I think they were like, don't worry about it at first, and then one day they were like, oh no, yeah, worry about it, figure it out, deal with it, make the adjustments. No, yeah. The actual information I pulled up for the Legends stuff just talked about weapons, and that's it. So what they suggest you look at is its strength and toughness stats, as well as its save, and then try and figure out something in the game comparable, and then try to get close to that for its basing. And it's got a good bit of wounds, a good bit of toughness, from the information I looked at. That might not be the same information. So it's reasonable that it should be larger, because that's kind of how it always works, right? You don't want to give something that's like the size of a 28 millimeter base, like 40 wounds and top tier toughness. That's insane. You're giving it the ability to hide and not die? Okay. No, that thing needs to take up a quarter of the board. It needs to make it so that you have a problem placing your own units, and that an enemy can shoot it from any angle. There's a reason why the Primarchs are on such huge bases. Even Guilliman, whose stats are good but not like mega impressive compared to the Chaos Primarchs, he's also on a fairly large base. He's an Abaddon-sized character. And that's probably it. Just figure the base out in that regard. Like, look at other units that are close in core stats. Well, okay, so the weapons shouldn't really imply base size. It's usually wounds and toughness and armor save as a combo. That's usually what you want to go with, because Defilers basically have similar to Dreadnought close combat weapons, and they're like 2 times the size. No, they're 3 times the size of a Hellbrute. So you kind of just have to sort from there. These neophytes might be done faster than I was thinking, which is not good. I'm actually taking a lot of stuff with me. I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow because I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be at the AOS game I'm going to play. And then I'm going to be hanging out all weekend up through Monday, so I probably won't stream Monday either. At a buddy of mine's house. Taking my Underworld stuff. I'm taking my Spearhead for AOS just in case someone at the store is like, yo, anyone want a Spearhead this weekend? I'd be like, yeah, I got that. If one of the people who are trying to get into Kill Team are at the store on Friday, and they're like, man, I really wish I could play someone in Kill Team to like learn it, I'd be like, dude, what you doing this weekend? I'm taking my my Hearthkin. I'm doing it, man. I want to try Hearthkin. I've had them for the longest time. I think their stats are kind of like okay, because their downsides are usually matched a little bit by their upsides, and I kind of like that. They feel interesting. Heavily ranged. Okay, why is everything falling off my desk right now? Like, I'm not even moving stuff and things are falling off my desk. What is happening today? One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. So Quins have always been hard. I know people talk about how Quins were like insanely strong, but they're hard to like really master as to how to play them. I know Can You Roll a Crit went into some extreme detail on the method of playing them, because it's one of those teams where when you put them on the field, you're basically going, hi, this is my battle plan, because I see your stuff and I know your plan. I know you're going to try to do the turn 1 pop up with the Death Jester to do some damage and then possibly get killed, because you're probably going to be in whatever mode you get points for by taking damage, because that's how turn 1 works, and you really want to get to your full points value. Like, you're playing to a specific rhythm, which, I mean, that's Harlequins. That's hella Harlequin flavor. So losing fly, which kind of sucks now that we're seeing sort of how the Vespids are gonna work. I gotta look at the Vespid news because don't they have fly on their sheet? It's gonna come down to whether or not fly means it's gonna be the same thing that the Harlequins are, the Harlequin ability is, or if fly still means like what fly always meant up till now. That's going to be the kind of big difference. I still think they're good because holy crap, they do good damage. They're kind of horde-y. They all have 3 APL. So how do I put this? APL is the most important thing in this game at the end of the day. It's how many actions you can take. It's what you can do for taking over points. That is massively useful and powerful. So the fact that they are a large squad, all with 3 APL, which I don't think that changed, right? Let me take a look at some of the Vespid stuff, see if there's info for their cards. I want to see that. Downloads, kill team. Let me make sure that wasn't a balance, that they got rid of 1 APL for all the units. Remove fly. Domino field is a little bit more expensive, but it's still kind of the same thing. Sadath, delete the 3rd bullet point from the effect of adding the 4th mark to your performance tally. Change relevant part of Shaggoth's Jest. Is there a card for one of these guys? I need to see if there's fly on their actual data card for the Vespid. Ooh. Wait. So, okay. Maybe it's a team ability? They keep saying with their speed and flight, but I'm looking at the stuff here. I'm looking at their little information bar. It doesn't say anything about flight. It has to be a team-based thing. High storm, mind if we drop in. What did that orc card look like? Symbols are the same. Yeah. So the Vespid Skyblast. Movement 6. Here's the information for the weapons. The weapon enhancement, the neutron fallout, neutron bombardment, stuff like that. Vespid Stingwing, Tau Empire Skyblast. So there's going to have to be a Vespid Stingwing faction ability that is the thing for fly. But none of these units have fly in their keywords anymore. Which, if we look around, I'm starting to notice a lot of the keywords we're seeing is very simple. It's the unit, the army, the team, and that's it. Everything else is like gone. For whatever reason. So yeah, there's no fly on their chart. We're gonna have to see what the faction one is. Maybe. Yeah, fly could be the faction rule, but is it going to be fly or is it going to be Harlequin fly? Because Harlequin fly is just flip belts, which you only ever spend 2 inches going vertically. That's it. And I think you can horizontally drop however far you want. However, each time this operative is climbing or dropping, yeah, so 2 inches up or down, regardless. You could go all the way up like a 6-inch tall building for 2 inches. They still have their full APL, which that's huge. Because again, I think they're what, a 9-man team? Void Dancers. They're an 8-man team. They have 8 people, which is 2 more than an elite team, which means they have 6 more APL than an elite team. My thing is, what's that Sadath delete? Sadath ability, delete 3rd bullet point. Delete 3rd bullet point from the effects of adding the 4th mark to the performance. Add 1 to the tally. The first time a friendly... What was the original? I'd have to find my book. Because they still have stuff. You still get points, and then you'll still get up from performance to accolade. I think they're still good, honestly. Because the main thing about Fly is the ability to go over top of units, which means in close quarters, you can't be blocked by people. You just go over top of them. The Flip Belt is the same thing. You go over top of units. Like, Flip Belt doesn't care about units. It has the purpose of Fly when it comes to operatives, but then, yeah. I honestly think Flip Belt might end up being the revamp of Fly, but we'll have to see. Because Fly was super strong, and if you look at the new maps, it's going to maintain that strength. There's no way in these new maps that Fly isn't just, like, way too powerful. They're getting a lot more serious with the verticality, to the point where you actually get enhancements now. You get game starting function to be able to place like ladders so that you can quickly go up tall buildings. They're trying to make verticality a thing because there are also teams that had equipment that are meant for that type of stuff. Like there's teams with climbing rope, the Wormblade, for instance. There's teams with characters that are meant to go up over top of buildings way quicker than normal. So genuinely, I think they're trying to push the verticality side of things because it's important. Genuinely, it is a key constant in Kill Team that verticality should be on your mind when it comes to building a map. Because the game's kind of no fun when there's no vantage points. Since, you know, vantage points have their positives and negatives to using them. You have to kind of weigh what you're going to survive, whether you want to survive, the value of being up there versus doing other stuff. Can you put a piece of cover up there? Which, again, some factions can do that. I think the prior scouting function, one of the scouting functions was to place another piece of terrain, and you can place it on top of vantage. Like, that was huge back then. They got rid of it in the new one, so maybe they're trying to kill that a bit. Because I would 100%... in an open world map, 100% I take that as a Votann player. I'm 100% putting a dwarf on the top of a building with a big gun. put it up there. I'll make it heavy. Although I'm pretty sure you... I don't know if you can make that one heavy. I think you can make the other two heavy. Now there's a problem with these legs. The trick is, to my memory, some of these legs are only designed for certain upper bodies. Because they have like road flares on them. And the road flares won't sit properly. God, I wish they'd just peel the band-aid off for the updated rules. Please. Please, Papa Games Workshop, notice my channel. Send me the rules early. I'll sign DMCAs. I just need to know stuff. I would absolutely love if the same day the rules came out, a video of mine popped up that was like, yo, we're going over these. Like, the same day. That morning. Just as the rules come out and are released. It's just an in-depth look at how they work. Tons of video footage of me showing you how units work, going over some of the units that kind of had big changes, talking about the ways they interact. Oh, I'd love it. I'd love it so much. I have so many teams. I can run so many examples. Just need time. That's all. It's the one thing in my budget that I have to make room for. Yeah, see? Pouch here, flares here. Can't attach. I'm gonna have to sort of go through... Because technically I should have cut the feet out as I was cutting everything else. Because the feet, for the ones that fit, are actually kind of close. What is this nonsense? I have all the legs. They're all cut out. What's happening? Did I miss a pair of legs? Is there like a special pair of legs meant for this specific body? I didn't cut out the heavy weapon specialist bodies. There were 3 of them. There's the one that I cut the back out for. There is one upper body that I could probably cut out and clean up. That's standard. That might be needed. Wait, what's after this weekend? I was talking to doing the 3.0 overview. I gotta get those rules, man. Be so good. I'd love it. I'd love it so much. But I can't focus on that. What I have to be focusing on is the fact that I gotta get this AOS rules overview video out. So I do need some B-roll for it. Hopefully this game tomorrow can supply me some decent B-roll. And then I can most likely next week when I get back. I don't know if we're really streaming next week, honestly. I'll probably convert this table to be my recording area. Get everything set up, lighting, all of it, you know, thumbs up, great. And then we just go. I just go section by section. I talk about kind of the core centralized rules. We go from there. I show all the examples. I need to shoot for the B-roll cutout so that I have an AOS background when my character's walking around talking. That's going to be very important. We got a lot to do. A lot of base work to get through. See, this works. I feel like that's about perfect. Ooh, there it is. That went straight in. Question is, who do I pre-order Hivestorm from? I kind of want to pre-order it from my local specifically. Oh, dude, my guy, did you not see the Spearhead video? My guy travels through time, sir. He can travel through time and dimensions. He doesn't care. It's going to be the same guy. He'll just pop in and out. Greg usually follows him. It's great. Dropping channel lore. This has all the pop-ups and downs. I like the idea that, like, my character in sort of an Elseworld, I guess, 40k universe concept. Like, he stumbled into a bunch of weird artifacts and just has crazy levels of, like, Trazen tier power. And is just using it to kind of travel through the universe in a Space Hulk hanging out. Talking about strategies and units. Occasionally bending time and space and just going to other dimensions to talk about stuff. Like, just slightly psychotic. Usable. Ooh, this one basically went straight on. This one, I think, yeah, no, this should be it. But this is one of the ones that has to, like, pop in. Because the grenade actually flawlessly fits into this little pocket there. This might be the right one. This is potentially right. This one also has a grenade. Ooh, okay, so that one might be for that. This one might be for this. It's got the grenade pop socket. It should just work. No, man. Weird. One kind of pops on perfect. I think this is right. So I still need to get a biophagus. Genuinely, my big plan with the Gene Stealer cult is to have a 20-man squad of neophytes, right? And then put a biophagus in that squad that has the ability to infiltrate, and just infiltrate them 9 inches away from my opponent's team. Just make a wall. Just be like, hey man, turn 1, you're not gonna leave your zone. You're gonna be stuck 9 inches away from your side. Another grenade one. Why do I feel like most of these bodies are just not right? Like, at all. We've got two pairs of legs that has that grenade back end. But then we have 4 bodies with the grenades. So we've only figured out 4 combinations. This kind of sucks. So this one, like, this should work. Maybe it's the plastic up front. Ta-da! Alright, halfway marker. This one also requires a grenade though, so is it this? I mean, kind of fits. Yeah, guess that's right. Tried the other two, but I think that's about right. I feel like this one's the same thing. Ooh, that one just went straight on. It's this one. I'm kind of a little annoyed that I didn't catch on to the GSC visual aesthetic at first. We probably would have fully painted these, like, properly, just straight up, decent shading concept, decent lighting concept, because this is Dragon Ball Z armor, and I probably would have painted them to look like Saiyans. They all would have been Nappa, because, you know, bald. So these shouldn't be upper bodies that work anymore, I think. Although, we need 4, right? Like, we have 4 legs. We're already 5 deep. These have grenades on the back, which means if we do another one, it's going to need the grenade pocket. Which none of these have. No, this one has it. So, grenade pocket. Needs to feel like it actually pops in properly. That one doesn't feel like it. This one also kind of doesn't feel like it, but this is the grenade legs, so we got to kind of get whichever one fits. So we'll do that in a second. So it's these 3 upper bodies, these 3 lower bodies. I'm gonna figure this out. Can't be that one. Could be this one, maybe. I think this is closest. Oh yeah, it's that one. This is also a grenade back. Wait, what's happening? We have so many different grenade backs. Is another one of these a grenade possible? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's perfect here. This just fits. Boom. 0 resistance. So we have 2 legs. This one actually has a grenade pocket. This one doesn't. And we have 3 bodies that are all grenade pocketed. God, I hate NEOPHYTES. It's most likely this one. Yeah, like it's not at all this one. Oh, no, there we go. Yeah. There's a mild chance once I get the other Gene Stealers that I don't know. This is the issue with the team I'm going, right? It's Abominants with Aberrants, and it is Patriarch with Gene Stealers. I'm trying to figure out what fits other than that. I don't want it to be characters because people could just play Assassinate against me, and that's goddamn obnoxious. So the question is, what do I go? I kind of want to go Acolytes, the Dynamiters. But the problem with the Dynamiters is they don't really feel good. Oh, we messed up. This does not go here. They don't really feel good. Dynamiters genuinely feel like they're missing so much. They got massively nerfed, which, yeah, sure. I mean, they were huge casino cannons, so I don't know why they should have been nerfed. But they got nerfed, so it happened. I mean, can't really harp on too much about that. Perfect. We got all the legs. Everything was found. So this was unnecessary. Let's do the crackle paste. I'm playing Biosanctic. It's the one that explicitly focuses on Abominants, Aberrants, Biophages, Patriarchs, and Gene Stealers. It gives me the ability to charge better, and it gives me +1 to my attacks when I charge, and it also provides me the ability to get +1 to wound rolls for a command point against monsters and vehicles. It's massively good, especially when you put it in the hands of an Abominant with an Aberrant squad and you go into a tank and then you spend that for the +1 to wound rolls. You end that tank. It's over. It's so good. Also, Gene Stealers are horrifying. Gene Stealer Cult Gene Stealers are way too good. Their stats are through the roof. You definitely want a Patriarch in at least one of the squads because he makes them even more horrifying. The benefits he provides are just way too good. Which is why I got the Hive Secundus characters. Because one of them is going to be my Patriarch. Malstrain looks so cool. I'm thinking Acolytes because they're battle line, I want to say. I thought those were the battle line. Those might not be battle line. I know one of them was. Pretty sure those are the battle line one. The other one is the melee heavy versions of the Acolytes. I think the Metamorphs. But yeah, the speed that comes from utilizing Gene Stealers. Oh, it's so good. It's certainly not something I'm used to. Like, it genuinely feels really cool to be in melee because I chose to be in melee. I feel like 90% of the games I play, my characters are so slow moving and hard to, like, position well for threat ranges. But the speed on a Gene Stealer is huge. They get their scout functions. They're just in your face, man. And you really don't want them to be in your face. I threaded the needle charging through an open area that the person I was playing against. He was an Emperor, the Imperial Guard player. And he left a kind of a gap open that allowed me to run through a ruin and get to his leader. Oh, dude, it was so good. I just, like, showed up at his leader turn 1 and almost killed him. Killed his entire guard squad and then had him at, like, nothing. They're just so fast. After rereading the one command ploy, though, I kind of figured out I used it wrong. I thought it was meant to mark a target, and then as you did charges with other squads, you would get stacking plus charge roll, but it's actually for multi-charge. If you multi-charge into a into 3 different squads with one unit, you get +3 to the charge roll. That's how it works. It's just worded really poorly. I gotta take the rules. Actually, yeah, no, when I leave today from here, I gotta take all the AOS rules with me. I gotta take my armies and my boxes, and I'm gonna spend some time tonight staring at those books to make sure I have an understanding of match play. Because I've been playing Spearhead, which that nets you like a bunch of knowledge, but match play is like a whole different beast. Having to realize what to do for placing detachments, knowing what your leader detachment needs as its bonus. I don't even know if we're doing match play. I think we might just be doing a raw game. Because match plays and raw games are different. Because you'll lose the benefits of the general's detachment upgrades. And you'll also lose the faction-specific missions. But you'll have universal missions to do. We might honestly do just a raw game. I don't know. He did say he had the General's Handbook cards, so I'm guessing we might actually do a General's Handbook game, so that would be matched play. He is playing Night Haunt. He did want to warn me about that. But he's not playing Nagash. Which, at full scale, supposedly Nagash is the thing that makes Night Haunt annoying. Because Night Haunt is hard to kill, and Nagash kills everything. So, you get the combo. Instead, he's going to be hard to kill, but also manageable, as far as I can tell. Especially since I'm going to have things like burn and stuff on his healing units. That's another thing. I gotta look into how to apply burn to targets. I think you activate it into burn status in the shooting phase, but it's a debuff that sits on them until then and then falls off at the end of the overall like player turn. But I need to make sure that that's the sequence. Because Because I think you can trigger burn in any shooting phase, but the current player turn is where it falls off, which means Overwatch is actually kind of important. I'm going to need to try to have 1 point for Overwatch every single round so that my flamers can maybe cause some problems, or at least something in my army can cause some problems, and apply a burn debuff, which will be very helpful in other phases, because I think I'm going the -1 to hit for burning targets. I think I'm going that route, even though I have a Lord of Change and he kind of provides that. I'm doing it for the hope that the double stack matters, because I feel like there's going to be units in his army that's like, oh, they get +1 to hit. And I'll be like, all right, well, you're -2, which means you're -1. Hooray. Hooray! Crackle paste down. Now we gotta figure out how to glue these guns on. Let's get the heads in. Let's do the guns first. That way we can make some calls on which direction the heads are gonna face. Let me actually mute the mic and vacuum some of this crap up. There we go. So the guns sort of don't matter, but we do need to be a little cautious on it. Because it should be that the arm and the gun meant for the arm is right next to each other. And there should be a shotgun and an auto gun for every single individual arm. So like that should be a combo. I like this. This is when you know that GW's been at least a little intelligent. We go double. We go the over-under on this one. It's when the parts that matter that are separate from each other are right next to each other. I hate when you're looking at stuff on like the how to build section and it's like, get bicep 10. You know, grab bicep 10, apply it to gun 5, and those are just completely opposite of each other on any of the brackets. You're just like, Jesus, why? Why would you do this? Meanwhile, over here, it's like bicep right next to your 2 gun options. Go. You don't even need to think. Just go, 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 go. Yeah, just stuff all over the place on those sprues. Oh, dude, it's the worst. They're not even the worst. Some of the worst sprues I've seen are when, like, the bicep's on a whole other one of these. Like, on a completely other rack versus the gun. And it's... You're just... It's the worst. It's the worst actual feeling. I'm kind of okay when they segment stuff by like, this sprue is all the upper bodies, lower bodies, this sprue is all the heads and guns. I'm okay with that. But if you're gonna just drastically separate parts that are important to each other, sir. Do not do it. I'm gonna go with the auto gun here. None of these guns matter. Maybe in 11th they'll matter. They'll drop them again in 11th and be like, oh, shotguns are short range and do more damage. And I'll be like, great, I have all these auto guns. Oh, dude, Knights are okay, depending. There's certain components on Night Sprues that are just god-awful. I think that Castigator that I put together, though, was just one of the worst things I've done in a long time. Then again, I did convert it for the most part, so it wasn't, like, completely bad, since I already went into it knowing that the parts would not be next to each other that I was going to use. Pure Strain Gene Stealers are... I'm trying to remember, because I did put together 20 of them in a very short period of time. I think they were okay, because I started to realize that it was legs and body, and head, I think. No, it's legs and body, and then you get 2 head choices. Once you get those down, the arms actually kind of were fine. In like a weird way. The arms were perfectly fine. You barely needed to like try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which I kind of miss. Those were the days, man, when you put something together and they were designed in such a way where you could apply any upper body to any legs and then give it any head and then give it any set of arms for weapons. Like, that kind of was the best. This is the, he has his hand up. This is for the icon bearer. So we flip this. Is that the Dark Angel stuff? One of the worst I've come across still will always be to me the frickin' Gene Stealer Cult Trucks. Gene Stealer Cult Trucks are so bad. I hate them so much. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There should be one more on here. I think it might be, because these are these. I think it might be this. Looking. This is definitely that. That's that. I mean, worst case scenario, I go pistol and dagger. Just to give it some flair. But I think it might actually be this one here. I'm gonna put it over here so that we know that this was a gamble. This was a test, a possibility. Oh, dude, I could imagine. Anything like mounted like that has to just not be great. I can only imagine what these new Griffhound mounts are, like how they're gonna look. Because it looks like there's some variation you can apply to them. Which, when there's variation like that, there's usually some issues. Like, you can only have one of this possibility kind of situation. Oh man, so my local store has a ton of the Agents of the Imperium stuff in, and I saw the Navigator, and I was like, I wonder. So I picked the box up, I flipped it over, and yeah, it's all push fit. They didn't even like reassess the model to feel more like a 40K thing and less like a push fit side thing model. They genuinely were just like, screw it, push fit. Whatever, man, push fit. Which, I mean, I get. It's less work. Must line up wrist. Okay, I actually don't know if this is the right wrist now. It's like super close, but not quite. They might have screwed me. I could have swore that these arms were actually meant for the right thing. Lol. No Black Templar Navigator. They completely navigatorless. GPS turned off. They're just floating through the warp. Probably what we can do here is mostly just go through all of the guns and at least get them on. I mean, this one lines up. How does the other one not line up? That other one was like right next to it. That's perfect. I don't think that's how it works though, because I think they make it so that you just can't take Psyker. Like even if it is another, because allied detachments aren't like detachments. It's just allies. Like it's just units that get your detachment name, I think, for purposes of rules. And I'm pretty sure the Black Templar rules are like you cannot have Psykers. It's just not a thing. That way you can't, like, pull in Space Marine librarians. This one also feels a little off. Yeah, I think we're just gonna do... I think we're just gonna glue the guns, and then we're gonna figure out the arms. We ballsed it up. Which is weird. It really should work. I don't know why it doesn't. Because, like, this one is a bug arm, and this one is an arm that needs a bug arm. And they were right next to each other, so I don't know why they wouldn't just work. Oh god, this is going to end up being a body thing, actually. Aw, dip. It explicitly says Space Marine Psychers? Or is it just that the things that you're told about are only really from the Space Marine list? Because, like, you could do it, but then I'd also be a little bit worried going forward about actually getting your codex and having them be like, no Psychers! Grrr. Angry face. Yeah, see, this one worked perfect. What is up with the... I think it's because the body's wider than you think. There might be a specific gun meant for that body. Wait, is this the leader body? I think this might be the leader body. If that's the case, then I think he can maybe only equip that pistol combo thing. Or I can probably just shave some more plastic off and then make some adjustments. Word, get yourself a nav. Do it. The one assassin that everyone really wants, that's also still sold out. The store near me has every assassin except that one assassin, which I'm pretty sure got completely purchased. Like, completely bought out. The one that does the uppy downies, I think. The Calidus. I think it's the female assassin, right? Like the shapeshifter one. That's the one that everyone's like, this is the most meta assassin in the game. And it's been out of stock for so long. My buddy actually went to Etsy and bought a 3D printed one because he was like, I need it and I want to play games. But Games Workshop isn't supplying anyone with them, so... Like, need, but also super annoying. This wrist issue is freaking awful, man. Oh. Templars are crazy. Actually, I was going through all of my stuff here to try to figure out which books I still have. And I came across I think it's called The Black Crusade. This arm does not want to position properly at all. Think we got it, maybe? Let me go grab it. I mean, I had it. Where the hell did it go? Ah. Damnation Crusade. So this is a single comic that follows the entire life and existence from sort of being chosen to becoming a Black Templar. It goes completely over like the whole process. Like it shows their battle world that they live on, where they just fight constantly and kill each other, and they're just trying to prove who's like strongest. You know, they kill giant beasts, and it's all just crazy, horrible stuff. And then whenever whoever wins, they're like, yeah, we won. And then a ship comes down. It's all light. And then Black Templars come out of the ship and go like, come with us. And they just grab them. And then it's just off they go. And it goes over the whole process of like being chained up, mutated. You know, they have like the Tau, dude. Like it touches on everything in here. They go from being acolytes, like the little scouts. Let me see if I can find them. Yeah, they go from the like neophyte stage, like the little scout stages, into being just getting the accolades enough to get the better power armor, become soldiers. You know, take wounds, get elevated up to like squad command and stuff like that. Eventually, getting some crazy battle happen. Like it just happens. It goes nuts. And then you get wounded doing something incredible, so they put you inside a dreadnought. And then they go over like the dreadnought side of things, talking about how it's just like you go to sleep for 80 years, wake back up. The person who put you in the dreadnought's no longer the person that's managing you, and you're like, wait, where'd my buddy go? It's like, oh, he died. No, what? So, like, that was kind of cool. I picked that one up randomly at a convention that I went to for comics. Just out of nowhere. Yeah, see, these fit. I don't know why the other ones don't quite fit. I might have to adjust them a little bit. Glue fumes getting into my head. There we go. Beautiful. I mean, you say that, but you could always go straight for the Exidio. Extendio. I haven't fought, like, real AdMech yet. I kind of like how they're described in Horus Heresy. Like, that was the one probably relatively interesting thing about the reveals for Nova that made me think, like, oh, that's kind of cool. Was when they sort of described the AdMech as, like, necromancers. And the army's a little bit closer to how undead work than anything else. I was like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Like, I hadn't really thought about it that clearly. I always just assumed it was, like, something a little different. because the 40k visualization and theming of it felt different. But then for Horus Heresy, they were like, yeah, you get like one Necromancer, and he has a ton of like undead and golems and stuff. I was like, oh, that's why I play friggin' Thousand Suns, because that's the way it feels there. I mean, basically every person in your army is a golem. That's kind of pog. Yeah, but it's still basically just an AdMech thing. I mean, it's an automata. It's a little more fun over there, I guess, in that term of just like trying to create awkward, fun, like pseudo sci-fi fantasy stuff. Makes it really fun. I want to actually play against an AdMech army. I get that people say they're not that great right now, although there's apparently, with the adjustments, there's more options. Supposedly the way you're supposed to play them now is Horde mode, which nobody in AdMech wanted. Like, why? None of us bought Hordes. Why are we playing Horde mode? The misery of that. I think the balanced data slate pseudo souped up some of their anti-tank damage on some of their bigger models so that you don't have to horde mode anymore. Again. You Horus Heresy people and your lore. Lore! I gotta clean this up a little bit. I've gone against the Hunter Clade once. My buddy was playing them for a little bit, and he was trying to like figure them out. This was before they kind of universalized some of those doctrine things they do, where there's not like negatives really anymore for them. It's just pick a doctrine and go kind of situation. They were good. I remember watching a tournament. I think Orion was playing it, and he was playing his Gellerpox, and he was doing really good with the Gellerpox pretty much the whole way through the entire tournament. Like almost any match that he went into, he would walk out with just huge victories. And the final match was against Hunter Clade, and the Hunter Clade guy, there was like a moment where I think Orion got like the best of him for a little bit. But I think for the most part, I can't remember if the Hunter Clade won or lost, but it was like an insanely close game. And they were pretty cool because this was after Close Quarters was released, which meant the Hunter Clade, which everyone universally knew as this ranged team, was now interestingly positioned as a team that could adapt, where they could be like, oh, I'm indoors, let me go all melee. Let me go these guys who are super quick and very scary in combat. Look, man, all I want is my Osiren Dreadnought. I don't care about anyone else's automata. I don't care about anyone else's stuff. I just want my Osiren goddamn Dreadnought. Want it back. I want it to be a Dreadnought with a big old staff that it carries around on the field. Dude, I don't even care if the only ranged attack it gets is Psychic. Like, if it has a Dreadnought close combat weapon as one hand and it's just, like, outstretched and open with, like, one of those little Zinch eyes in the palm, and then the other's just holding onto a staff. And it's just like, yeah, I have a Psychic attack for ranged, and I have 2 options for melee. One's an anti-tank, one's an anti-infantry. Without the actual anti-tank or anti-infantry info on it. To give it a nice aura that interacts well with the Cabal point function. Oh, that's all I need. We have a good bit, and Psychers are kind of weird. Like, I'm sort of hoping 3.0 makes a slight adjustment to this, but Psychers in Kill Team are like, they're a little off, if I'm being honest. Because they're sort of like their own mini game, is how I would put it. Like, they're a game within a game. Some of the rules of how they work and interact sort of make them like their own thing. It actually took almost a year of me playing Kill Team to realize that injury doesn't affect psychic attacks. Like, that was something I had no clue about at all. Like, no one threw that info at me for a very long time. It took me a while to realize that that was the case. And I was just like, whoa, dude. This is awesome. Like, just learning sort of that approach to how it's supposed to work was just like very peculiar to me. And I kind of liked that it was at least a little bit rare, because it didn't really need to be common. It didn't really need to be just everyone has this. I feel like the teams that deserve it have it, which is what's kind of cool. The Void Scarred have a Psyker. That's kind of cool. Of course, the Thousand Suns have 3 Psykers. That's pretty massive. The Hyrotech Circle have 3 people who are like who are kind of like that Necron type Psyker, where it's not actually psychic. So none of the benefits people can get, like feel no pains against psychic and stuff, really help. So they at least get their flavor there. The Legionary have a Psyker. But the people who you kind of don't expect to have Psykers don't. I think that's probably one of the places they needed to go with with the Tyranid, but they can't now, I don't think. Unless there's something weird they can do where like a ton of Zoanthropes can all be like just there. But like Genestealer cults, the Brood Brothers have Psychers or a Psyker. What else do we got? I think technically 2 Psychers. The Patriarch's a Psyker, I'm pretty sure. So that's Brood Brothers. What else? What else do we get? They could do that like Neuro Lictor thing, like the Psyker Lictor for a Tyranid team. That would be pretty cool. But armies that normally aren't permeated by Psychers just don't have Psychers. Grey Knights would all be Psychers. Every single Grey Knight should be a Psyker. What that means in the long run, I don't know. Honestly, if they gave them the pick of like the Hammer Fist or the extra armor or something, and that buff persisted until the next time that unit activated, and you get to select what they start in, I think that would create a really powerful and unique elite team. Because, like, opening turn, you could just be like, alright, I'm going to be all in engage, and all my guys are going to have the +1 armor for their opener. That way you can, like, take advantage of the moments you need to take advantage of. And just not feel so bad when your opponent is straight up just like, oh, I can't shoot my plasma gun at you because I'm in conceal. I might do this guy differently because this arm doesn't fit. I'm going to do this the way that I was debating as like a spare. I should have a one-handed gun. Here we are. And then I should have a dagger over here. Because everyone is equipped with cult melee weapons, so why not? Get this little tab off here. Neophytes, they don't, to my understanding. It's not the Neophytes you do it to, although I think they could. The main one you're looking for isn't a Neophyte to do it. Let me grab the picture. What you're looking to do is mostly buy Metamorphs and Acolytes. Because the Metamorphs and Acolytes use this body, which I can technically pull up and show you. They use this body, which has this backing. So it's like a half-on spacesuit helmet, right? Like it's the back end of the spacesuit helmet, but without the visor coming down over the front. So you just put the rat head in there. And the people who've been locally doing it, the cheese stealers, what they'll do is they'll just mostly go Neophytes and Acolytes. Or Acolytes and Metamorphs. And then they'll buy a bunch of like Rat Hulks for, you know, the Aberrants and Abominant stuff. Because it's basically the same thing. And then, yeah, you get your cheese stealers. Like, some of them, like this one, could probably fit it. But for the most part, the rat heads are all, like, back-angled with the head coming out forward. So when you have something like this, which is more of like a straight up and down, it just doesn't look good. But yeah, someone just finished up doing a truck and actually put a few cheese stealer acolytes on the truck as like flavor with a couple extra rats. He actually went a little all out. He purchased some components from the Skaven, I think from the box mostly, the Skaven Tide box. And the way it works is the truck has this little standing plank, like a standing platform. Like you have the back of the truck bed, and then there's like a staircase or a ladder up to like a little area where these guys are supposed to usually stand. He actually cut that whole part off and replaced it with wooden planking that he got from, I think, like a plague bell or something. Alright, let's get some heads in here. This, we're just about done. I might bail early. I can go get some food. I gotta try to get my car prepped to put the boxes in to take with me. Make sure I have all the rules and paperworky stuff. We're almost ready to paint the rest of my units. I'm not huge into Gene Stealer cults right now for play. I'd much rather play Thousand Suns, my Soul Forged, or even my Chaos Knights. Like every time I've played them, the Gene Stealer cults feel fun, but like I don't know, something in the back of my head is just like, I don't really feel like playing them today. And I can't shake that, really, right now. Either way, I still need a Patriarch, which I should be getting this weekend with those mouse strains, along with 5 mouse strains. And the problem is now I have to wait for the Hive Secundus stuff to release separately, because I need to buy 5 more mouse strains in order to have a full squad of 10. And that way my Gene Stealers are done. If the box comes about the same as what the Hive Secundus box has, where it has like the Brood Brothers with the little brain ticks on top of it, then I'll have the rest of the Neophytes. I need to make 2 squads of 20 Neophytes, which might end up being what I actually use. Because I could always put the Gene Stealers, I think, into the trucks. I think the trucks they're like 12 or 13 slots. It's the Rock Grinders that are smaller. So I can throw the Gene Stealers in the trucks. The trucks would gain Scout. Is it Scout or is it Infiltrate that they have? God, I'm trying to remember. I think they have Infiltrate, which means they wouldn't gain that. I think the Metamorphs are the ones that have Scouts. So Patriarch, I need the other 5. Get the Neophytes with it. The Brood Brother Neophytes. I like those brain ticks. I'm going to be using those brain ticks for something. They look cool. 10 neophytes. Can't glue them down to the base until the bases are actually fully dry, so we can't really do much there. We do have some projects to work on a little bit. Oh, geez. Chase coming in right as I'm getting ready to head out. We just finished all 10 neophytes. Let me zoom the cam in. No, not what I wanted to do. There you go. So we got the 10 neophytes done. Just all basic gunners. That way we can actually run the squad of 20. Simple. But I do need to get all my stuff together for the AOS game tomorrow. I need to make sure I have all the stuff to take to my friend's house. I'm going to be doing a holiday weekend stuff over there with all of them. LAN partying, possibly playing some tabletop, you know, tons of fun stuff. And lastly, because I couldn't get the arms to sit right, we got Rambo fight. Freaking knife and an auto gun. But yeah, projects we could work on. I mean, I got all this stuff magnetized, like the large ones. They have magnets. We need to trim and magnetize these little... There you go. The little Havoc launchers. Not just these, but the ones I already have as well. And then we got to magnetize the dogs to work for them, which that's going to be a struggle. We're going to need to make sure to properly polarize all that. Like, hit the right polarities. Nice. And then we can paint those. That way I have the weapons that I'm going to need for my knights if I want to run them. We talked a bit early on. Let me go over here. We talked a bit early on about the Nova release. Wild. Don't know why they did it the way they did it. Because, yeah, what the hell even happened? Like, what was that? I'm still trying to figure it out. Either way, AOS game tomorrow. I'll probably post up pictures of it and maybe some video on the Discord as it goes for the battle reports. That should be fun. I'm kind of hungry because it's 2:27 and I haven't eaten since 9 this morning. Nova did show me that there is the Purple Sun plushie, and that's $39, $35 on Amazon. I might get it because it's bigger than the Squig, and I have the Squig, and that is quite a big plushie. So I might purchase it. I don't know. We'll see. Till next time, guys, though. Next week, maybe projects. If not, it's because I'm recording. Like, straight up, if there's no streams for a little bit, it's because I've converted the table I'm currently working on into a recording surface, so that way we can get a ton of videos done. I really want to get that AOS video done coming up. I really want to get a lot of them done. So we've got some work to do. Till then, though, guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling. Thanks for popping in occasionally. Thanks for hobbying. We'll see you next time.